Hey guys, before we start, a quick shout out to Alpha Dog Nutrition for sponsoring this podcast. Alpha Dog products are now available at dusupply.com, and you can use code ALPHADOG15 at checkout for 15% off and a credit for free shipping to try it yourself. Now let's get you to your podcast.
Welcome to my podcast, where we are going to talk about a lifestyle with dogs and threw in a few life lessons along the way. Whether you're a hound hunter, bird dog enthusiast, running setters, pointers, retrievers, or a flat-out running dog junkie, this podcast is for you. I am your host, Heath Hyatt, a certified law enforcement canine trainer with over 3 decades of personal and professional training and handling experience. It's time for me to pay it forward. So grab your leads, lace up those boots, and come and join me on this lifelong process of teaching, training, and learning. Are you looking to unlock your dog's full potential and give them the best nutrition possible for peak performance? Then look no further. Inukshuk has what you're looking for. Inukshuk's nutrient-dense formulas are crafted to keep your dog's energy high and performance top-notch. Packed with premium proteins and essential fats, Inukshuk delivers the balanced nutrition your dog needs to thrive. From hunting dogs to police canines, Inukshuk is trusted by professionals. Give your dog the power of peak performance with Inukshuk professional dog food. Welcome back, friends, to another episode of What's Up Wednesday, where we get our weekly dose of canine training know-how. And whether you're on your morning commute, getting some work done, or just winding down, sit back, relax, let's get started. This week has been off the chart busy. Coffee and chaos. That's it. That's all we've had this week. You would think with no volleyball tournaments this weekend that things would be chill. It has not been that way. So I'm just going to give you a rundown of this weekend. I'm going to touch on this week, but just this weekend alone. So Friday night, time I got off work, got back from the gym, I went to a state semifinal basketball game for the county right beside us. We have a lot of guys that work with us, and we actually have some family members that are tied into the team. So decided to go catch that. Didn't end up how we wanted. It was a buzzer. I mean, it was literally a buzzer beater. And I think that's what is so great about basketball. But so we went to that Friday night. Saturday, I basically unloaded 2 pallets of dog food. I got a couple pallets of Inukshuk in, so had to get that sorted out and get it distributed where it was going. So that's what I did Saturday. I went to Roanoke and seen one of my buddies, Paul. Y'all heard me talk about him on the podcast. He was cutting some wood Tuesday, and there was basically a locust leaning up into another tree, and he, you know how that is, so dangerous. He was cutting the locust, and he'd cut a piece of it off, and it fell, and it caught. So he cut another piece of it off. Well, when he cut that off, it ended up falling and kicking back and hitting him in the head. They basically had to fly him out to Roanoke. He's got a pretty good cut on top of his head, just now getting where he can remember things and talk. Still not being able to hold food down. He's been very nauseous. So went down and seen him yesterday, and I missed the Muskie meeting. Sorry, Sam. I texted Sam to see what time it was. I just couldn't get everything done and get there in time, so I missed that. So, Hunter, I'm sorry I missed your birthday, buddy. Hopefully I'll catch you soon. Just didn't get to do that. And I did watch a lot of basketball, girls and boys. I watched the ACC tournament. So I guess Duke and NC State's going in. And then I watched the SEC, which I'm not a big fan of, but I'm telling you, man, Texas is going to be hard to beat. Like, holy cow. I mean, they played LSU last night, and I got to catch that. They're going to be playing South Carolina. I actually watched a couple of the boys' games yesterday too. I don't know how I got so much basketball in this weekend, but I did. And I'm going to try to keep up with wrestling today. The ACC tournament has been going on this weekend, so a bunch of the Tech guys wrestled today. Tech softball. I trying to keep up with that. I did clean. I cleaned my basement out. Got it cleaned and organized. Hauled a bunch of trash off. It's just one thing after another. That's just this weekend. So weekend's over with. Sitting here looking out the window, watching Iz run around. I don't know what she's chasing out there in the yard, but she's been all over the yard chasing something. So we'll talk about her more in a little bit. She's my little wonder dog. But yeah, so that's this weekend. Tuesday, I got to get out, do a little trout fishing. I did leave work early, and it was great. Like, I have been trying to get out and get on the creek for 2 weeks now, and because I've been so busy at work, I just have not had a chance. So I got everything called up Monday, Tuesday morning, and man, at lunchtime I bugged out. Went home, grabbed the fishing poles, my waders, and went to one of the local streams. And man, as Andy Griffith would say, I caught 2 great biggins. But I did get lucky. I caught 2 pretty nice brown trout. Both of them was over 5 pounds. Caught a lot of dinks. You guys know what that is? That's the small fish. But I caught 1 nice rainbow. I didn't keep any. I'm just not a fan of eating brown trout. I'm not. I like rainbows. Brook are my favorite. I just don't like brown. And the big fish, there was some guys above me fishing, and when I caught the first one, I had one break off too. Like, I had one that he kept getting in the current, and I don't know what happened, but man, he snapped my line. And I'm only using 4 pound test, and I use P line. P line is I really like that for trout fishing. But he broke off, and then I caught the 4th fish I caught was a really nice one. I'll post some pictures on the YouTube if you guys want to see them, if you hadn't seen them already. A little over 5 pounds. And then I caught, I don't know, a handful more fish. And then I caught the second one, and he was nice. He was a little bit nicer. Got him in, got some pictures, got him to turn back. And them guys above me, man, they were like going crazy that I was turning them fish back. And I'm like, what are you going to do with them? Like, what are you going to do with them? A guy up above me did catch a really nice one. Man, it was beautiful too. He had a brown trout, colored up real good, had a real nice yellow. I don't know what tint I would tell you, but it was a real nice yellow belly on him. Really nice fish, like really nice fish. So yeah, that was Tuesday, and I'm hoping that I can get everything caught up this week and do it again. I'll try to sneak out one day and get back on the creek and hopefully catch some more. I need to put some in the freezer, but like I said, I prefer rainbows and brooks. That's me. Not everybody does it. And we can a lot of our fish. We don't, the kids hate pulling the bones out of them, and they don't like when we grill them, or even if we bake them, they don't care for them. But when we can them and make them into patties, like salmon patty, they'll eat them up, and I prefer them that way too. I actually think they're better. So we can a lot. So I need to put some in the freezer. So next couple of weeks, that's what I plan on doing, is getting us a load of fish and getting them canned. So yeah, it's kind of been the week in the making. So this week, I don't even know what's coming up, but yeah. So yeah, let's go to some dog training. That's what we're here for, right? So I'm just going to kind of run over these 4 heathens that I'm dealing with right now. So I got 4 pups. When I say pups, they're under a year old. I've actually got 6 under a year old, but I'm going to exclude 2 of them. But I've got 4. I'll tell you about them. And then I'm going to tell you what's kind of going on and what I'm doing. So Miles, he's an 8-month-old. Got him from Kirk Rogers. Really like him. He's been a little standoffish, but anyway, he's the big brother. Okay, he's the 8-month-old. And then I got the 2 twins. I call them twins. They're not. They don't even look alike. But Abby, and the other one was the one I asked you guys to send me some names on. And I got some really good names, but some of the names I've already have are already used. And one guy sent me a name of the dad to the sea litter. So that was kind of cool that he was in the same line. But anyway, I decided to call her. I think I'm going to call her JoJo. I seen that pop up on the TV this past week, and I think that's what I'm going to call her, is JoJo. That's what we're going to go with. So I got the 2, I call the twins. We got the 2 twins. And then I got Izzy. Izzy's my 3-month-old. Now, the twins are 6-month-old, and Izzy is 3 months old. And I'm telling you, no fear. No fear. Like, you know how I told you the dogs were running the cows and baying them up? Well, I got that stopped. Okay, I got it stopped. And then this weekend, I was out, and so Chloe, my neighbor, she boards horses beside me. And every time they bring a new horse in, like, it's almost like a rodeo for a while to the horses settle and they kind of find their pecking order. Well, I had the pups out, the 4. They're out every day, and they bring this new big old black horse in, and the 2 girls had put him out in the field. And I'm assuming they're tech students, college students, because that's usually who boards their horses here. They turned him out, or him, her, whatever, and that thing throws its head up, and it comes up through the field, just a hooray to rail flying. And then the other horses fall in line, and the next thing you know, it looks like a Kentucky Derby out here. They're going in circles. Well, Miles and the twins, they decide, oh boy, let's go back and get to chasing the horses. Again, I had that stopped. So they get over there, and I like to never got them stopped from chasing the horses. I get them back and get them settled down. And then the next day, that exact same thing happens. I don't know. The horses got spooked from something, not sure. And they run down here in the corner, and they run right down in the corner where the dog lot is. Like, my dog lot butts right up to the corner of the field. And I don't know what it is, but the horses will come down there and they'll stand with their butts right up against the fence. Usually the dogs don't carry on too much. Now, when they have the blankets on them, which they've had the last couple of weeks because it's been chilly, the blankets, it depends on what color it is. Like, we got one that this girl puts a really bright blanket on her horse, and when he gets to running up and down the field or carrying on, the dogs will start barking. But anyway, so I had them broke from the cows. Then we're back to the horses, and I'm trying to stop that again. But my little fearless wonder here, yesterday we were out in the yard. No, wait, no, it was yesterday. Yeah, Corey come and got dog food from me. Yesterday I'm standing out in the yard. Well, she goes over in Travis's field, in the cow field. So just the vision is, guys, on the right side, I've got cattle, and I'm looking at them. There's probably 30 head out here. And then on the left side, I got horses, and I'm kind of right in the middle, right? So anyway, Iz goes under the fence, and I see that tail come up, and I see that demeanor change. And all of a sudden there's the Charlotte laying in the field. And next thing I know, she's just running around it barking. And I'm like, Iz. And she'll stop and look at me. And then she goes right back to barking. So had to get that stopped. So it's like one thing after another with these dogs. But hopefully we're getting it under control. I mean, kind of had to back up. But and I'm going to talk about maintenance, okay? We're going to talk about that after I tell you what these 4 are doing. So we all know that they go through stages, right? Pups kind of go in and out of stages. You know, they go through fear stages a couple times, and they go through, they're, adolescents. They're just going through all these phases. So the pups have been very, very, very good about listening. Like, when I holler or whistle, if they can hear me, bam, they're on it. Well, they've been going through a phase where they've not been listening real well. So Miles, he was getting down in the cow field and piddling around, not doing anything, but piddling. And I'd whistle and the two girls would come and I'd have to go literally get him. So 3 or 4 trips of that, I finally got that fixed. And they've all here recently went through a phase where like they'll come, but they won't come to me. Does that make sense? Like I can holler or whistle and they'll come running, but they won't close that gap to me. Like they be right up on me. So and Izzy's even doing it, the 3-month-old. So what I have been doing is I have spent a lot of time getting down on my knee, getting down on her level, right? And I'm starting to do some luring with food in my hand, okay? So what I do is when I go down to my lower lot to feed, I take a handful of kibble. Y'all have heard me talk about this, and I'll whistle, boom. And when they come, I just kind of take a handful of food and throw it out for them. And when I say handful, like I'm not like wadding it up. I mean, just a handful. And I throw it and they come and they piddle around. And I'm doing a couple things. We've talked about this. I'm watching to see who spends the most time there, who's not distracted, and whose desire to hunt, right, is a little bit longer. So I've been doing that quite a bit. And I will, when I'm coming back up to the house, I'm actually grabbing a little handful of food and I'll whistle and I'm holding my hand down with my palm up with the food in it. And when they come to me, literally, I'm feeding them while I'm walking. So this is actually going to help me in the leading phase. We've done a podcast on the leading phase, and we're going to get back to that too. So Miles has been doing really well. Like he's coming, and like I can if he's in front of me, I can take my hand and whirl it around and get him beside me, just almost like he's heeling, like right against my leg, and he'll stay and he'll eat up till I get him up top, and then I pet him real good. And then I go on. Well, Abby's the high tan little female. She's coming around pretty good too. Now, JoJo is not. Like, she's still a little standoffish. She will come, but it's like she don't like you touching her. Like, even when I try to pet her when she's eating, like I just try to, reach down and pet her. She's still standoffish, and I don't really care for that. We're going to work through it and hopefully make some progress. Is come right around. As soon as I started getting down on my knee, lowering myself and, holding a little bit of food in my hand at my knee, she flipped right back around. And I don't know why she got on this kick so quick, unless she was just mimicking the other dogs. I'm not sure. But I keep her out in the daytime. She stays outside. She's running loose right now. And then at nighttime, depending on what time we get, like if we got back a couple nights, 8, 9 o'clock, I go to the basement door and I holler, and I mean, she flies to the door, put her up, she's staying in the basement a little bit. Well, she has been staying in the basement ever since I got her. So I've been doing that. I'm getting ready. We put her out in the pen during the daytime. We put her out a couple days in the pen, just left her in the pen, and then we'll leave her out. So we're kind of doing both with her. But yeah, that phase, man, it's kind of funny to see how they act and how they respond. I really got to work on JoJo. I've got to get her, to come around. Like I said, she'll come, and I can even go to the pen and open the gate, and she'll go in the pen. But it's like when I want to reach down and touch her, she'll take a step back. She don't run off. She just takes a step back. So yesterday when I put them up, and I did the same thing. I took the food I had in my hand and I put it in both hands, and I held it out for one for Miles, and then I held it out again for her. She took a couple kibbles, but she took the kibbles and backed up and eat. Then Abby come in there and she was like gobble gobble gobble. So yeah, that's something that I'm working on right now with the pups. I'm still doing the tie outs. I'm not doing as much. I'm doing it maybe once a week. If I have time. Now the time's changed, I got a little bit extra daylight, so we're going to work on the loading. we're going to work a little bit more on the lead, and I'll be working on the tie out. So I'll be switching up the routine pretty regularly over the next couple weeks, maybe even a month. I don't know. And just kind of getting them there. So this brings me back to maintenance. Last Monday at canine training, this is where it kind of, I got to thinking about this and trying to put it in perspective for everybody. And I even talked to the group about this. So we were doing tracks, and we were in one of the places that we are allowed to go in that nobody else is allowed in. And I'm telling you, it is infested with deer. And when I say infested, I mean it's infested with deer. So my dog, Pino, he's pretty solid, right? He's pretty solid, coming 6 years old. Well, he's 6 years old this month. Cross tracks don't seem to be an issue with him. And on the first track, we had a deer, a big doe, and then a yearling. They crossed his track. I don't know exactly where they crossed it, but I know they come across the road and crossed in the direction that the track was going. So I start the track, and I get up through there, and in the area where I know the deer had to come through, he makes a hard left, and he makes a circle or two. And then gets back on track and gets started again, and then he makes another circle up to the right. And then he pushes through that. So I turn him around. I bring him back to the last place that I knew I had to track. And he takes off and goes right-handed. And I'm like, this ain't right. It's not right. So I ended up popping out on another road. And at that point in time, I'm like, okay, he's not letting me know I'm 100% right. So I just called the track. So I just said, okay, we're done. I text the guy that laid the track and said, hey, I'm cutting the track out right here. And to come to find out, the guy was just right up the road. But when we looked on our pack track, which is our program for tracking, Pino started out right. That circle he made was wrong. He got back on track. And when he hit that right-handed, he come back, he was wrong. And then he cut back and was way wrong. Even though we were in the same vicinity as the suspect, it was not right. So when I got back and we got to talking, I had said, hey, there's 2 deers. Anybody need to do any maintenance training or cleanup? And they all was like, no. And I didn't either. So why this comes about is we all drive vehicles, right? And at 5,000 miles, we have to change our oil. We have to do maintenance on our vehicles. And after so many miles, you got to put brakes on your vehicle. And you got to make sure that everything's, good to go on your vehicle. So I got to thinking about our dogs and our older dogs. And I know we've talked about this in a roundabout way, and I've mentioned it before, but last Monday was a good reminder for me that even though you have a 5-year-old dog that you think is broke straight, like broke, at some point in time, you're going to have to do some maintenance on that dog, right? There's going to be a time that he slips or she slips or something's not exactly right. So we need to do maintenance training. And that's just to reassure us that the oil's changed, that everything is up and running like it should be. So I go back to the pups. I had the cattle problem fixed, and I still do, okay? But then we shifted to horses. I went from horses to cattle, and now I'm back to horses, right? Dad don't want me running the cows. So now I'm going to go back to the horses. So got to do some maintenance training. So anyway, that was something that was going through my head is like, I should do better. And even though I've done it with Spook and Kate, that's my 2 oldest dogs, Spook and Kate. Even though I've done it with them a time or two, I think that we've talked about this past December, our season, how hard and tough it was, and how I had several junk races. I mean, I told you I did. Most of the time it was the younger dogs. It wasn't them. But I don't want them getting on track for that either. So when our training season comes back around August, I'm going to do some maintenance training. I'm going to do my diligence and try to get them on the right game that I prefer. And then I'm always going to check the oil, right? I'm going to check the oil. And then when December rolls back around, I need to do the same thing, just for my own peace of mind, to know that I'm keeping them in the right frame of mind. And I know that Ross and I talked about it on a podcast here a couple of weeks ago about, if you got an abundance of game, if you're putting them on bear every day, you're probably not going to have those problems, right? But when you're running a bear a week or two bear a week, and then it gets tough, and then the coyotes start coming into heat, and then the next thing you know, you got one off race, and then 2 weeks you go by and you got 3 off races. It's time to do the maintenance. So anyway, that kind of slapped me in the face per se with Pino. I don't have problems with him. And he did not, he would check them out and throw a negative, which means he would go into the behavior where I knew he was working odor. And then he would basically throw a negative, which means head come up, and he would start casting side to side saying, I'm not going to take this. So anyway, normally he does not even check it out. Normally he does not even give it a second thought. Like, it's just bam, 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 bam. He's right on the track, and I don't care what kind of cross track you lay for him. He goes on about his business. Well, Monday he didn't. So we get in the cars and we're driving to another location. There's a deer standing beside the road, and I've got a line. Like, I've got all my canine guys with me. Like, there's a line of us. So I stop. I get my collar out and put it on him. I get him out of the car. I just let him go. He don't pay a bit of attention to it. None. And the deer was literally just there a minute ago. I mean, long enough for me to stop the car, get my collar out, get the collar turned on and put on him, and then let him out. However long that took, a minute, 30 seconds, 2 minutes, whatever. He didn't pay a bit of attention to it. So I literally walked him over to where they went up the bank, and very, very light stem. Okay. He didn't want to run it. He didn't even try to run it. Didn't even really show any interest in actually sniffing, like taking sniffing breaths, like didn't even do that. But as soon as he hit that path, very light stem, pop, 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 he comes back to a heel to me. We go back to the car, put him up, no issues. So yeah, I don't know what happened that day, but just it is what it is. And even though he did not show me any interest, I did the maintenance work on it anyway. I'm like, this is not okay. We don't want this to happen. So here's a reminder that your oil needs changed. Okay. So anyway, just something for you guys to think about. And the pups, just working on them as far as being a little bit better of coming to me. They're, like I said, they're going through those phases, and distractions are becoming a bigger issue. So I'm making sure that the reward is as good or better than the distractions. And sometimes it's a little difficult depending on what mode they're in. Like I said, the horses running back in the field, they did not want to stop chasing them. And I did not have a mechanism. I didn't have a device. I didn't have anything in place to be able to stop that, because I wasn't expecting it. Remember, I told you about the car running up, and I didn't have something in place to stop it. So it's a little bit harder to do when you're not prepared. I was not prepared. So that took me a few minutes of running them down and telling them that it was not. And basically, I just run them down, clapping my hands, telling them no. And they're like, oh, what's Dad doing? What's Dad doing? And then they shot back up underneath the fence and come back in the yard. And as soon as they come back in the yard, I threw a handful of kibble out and rewarded them. So just to let them know that, hey, this is not okay. And when you listen, you'll be rewarded for it. So there's where we're at with all the training that we've done this week, and I know that's a crash course, but it's been every day something every day. So anyway, guys, I was going to tell a story, but I'm not because I don't think I have time. But so APA days are this coming weekend. I think the Saturday's the 15th, this coming up week. I'll be down. We'll come down Saturday and do a turn and burn. We'll come down, hang out for a couple hours, and then come back. So looking forward to that. Looking forward to seeing all our friends. I think Steve will be there. Got to see my buddy Jerry. I don't know if George is going. Talked to Kirk. Kirk's not going to be there this year. He's going to be in Florida chasing those old spring gobblers, old Cialas. So yeah, looking forward to seeing everybody down there on the 15th. And I got invited to Walker Days, not the one in South Carolina, Union, South Carolina. Actual breed days, Walker Days, to judge the show. So we will be making that trip up to, Mount Pillier, Ohio. And I do think it's on Easter weekend. So if you guys are going to be up there, I'll be up Saturday to judge the show on Saturday evening. I'm looking forward to that. I think it's a great honor that they actually reach out to me and ask me to do that. So I'm honored that they've invited me, and I really look forward to it. So that's a couple things we've got going on. We talked about the Western Virginia Sportsman Show. Something I want to throw out there, guys, is I don't know who's member of organizations or not. I try to be as active in some of them as I can. And the American Bear Foundation, if you are about conservation, bear conservation, seeing the population thrive and be healthy and trying to do things that support bear hunting, I would encourage you to join the American Bear Foundation. You can go online to the American Bear Foundation. You can pull up the state. I should have pulled that up. I think there's 6 or 8 states. I know California, Missouri, Oregon, Virginia, and I'm pretty sure there's 2 more states that are under the national. It's the state level. So if you guys are in Virginia, even if you're not in Virginia, if you hunt in Virginia, if you come to Virginia and hunt from out of state, and I know there's a lot of guys that do. I know there's guys from Maine, North Carolina, Ohio, Texas, because I see the vehicles, and I know some of the guys. So if you're coming to Virginia and hunt, I would encourage you to join the organization. It helps us finance some of the stuff. We're trying to work on some studies right now, and we're trying to finance some of that. I think there's some good things coming. I don't know if I'm allowed to say them yet or not, but we do have one thing that's going to really, really step Virginia up as far as conservation and science. Okay, I'll put it that way, science. So that's coming down the pipe, and we're looking at doing some stuff for the membership. We want to get more people involved and aware. We want to educate and make an awareness. That's what we want to do. So I encourage you guys, if you're not, to join. Like I said, you can go online and do it. You can pick Virginia for your state, if that's where you are. And like I said, if you hunt in Virginia, you should. So just want to throw that out there. What else do we got? I think that's about it. And the next I'm gonna give you a little. So I'm gonna give you an insight to the story I was going to tell, because we're going to catch that one on the next What's Up Wednesday. So it has been years, a lot of years, since this has happened to me. And I know now with the new Garmin's and the new technology, it's not so much. But this has happened to me twice in my 30 plus years of bear hunting now. And I think it's interesting because this conversation come up a couple weeks ago. We were talking about technology and, the things that we used to do. I can't tell you the times that I slept in my truck, pulled over on the side of the road, checking my tracking box throughout the night just to make sure my dogs didn't get down towards the road, making sure they were, on the mountain, what they were doing. So the story's going to tie into that. And I'm really curious to see if you guys have had this happen to you, because you just don't hear about it anymore. If you read some of the old books, I know Dale Cameron talks about it. I know I've read another book or two that has talked about it. But I want to know if you guys have actually had this happen, and if it's something that's kind of went away with technology. So until the next What's Up Wednesday, thank you guys for tuning in. Are you looking to have your dog transported to be kept safe, clean, comfortable? Then the ultimate hound transportation experience is with Muddy River. At Muddy River Transport, we understand that your dog's comfort and safety come first. That's why we offer premium dog hauling services that go above and beyond. Why choose us? We use ozone sterilization after every run. We use an advanced ozone machine to thoroughly disinfect and sanitize our van after each journey. This ensures that your dog travels in a clean, hygienic, and safe environment. Top-of-the-line comfort. Our spacious, climate-controlled van is equipped with comfortable, secure spaces designed to keep your dog relaxed and safe during transport. Professional and experienced drivers. Our friendly, trained drivers are passionate about dogs and dedicated to ensuring your dog's journey is smooth and stress-free. Communication is key. Count on us for route updates, dog check-ins, and projected times. We respect your time and your dog's needs. For a stress-free, safe, hygienic transport experience, book today and give your dog the best ride of their life. We believe our customers' dogs deserve to be treated like we would treat our own. We aren't just dog haulers. We are active houndsmen. When not on the road, we are hunting our own hounds. Travel safe, travel clean, travel comfortable. Every trip, every time with Muddy River Transport. Contact us on Facebook at Muddy River Transport Group or call 1-402-274-7558. Do you like to be outdoors like I do? If so, unlock the wilderness with onX Maps. It is your ultimate guide to exploring, hunting, and conquering the great outdoors. With detailed maps, real-time tracking, and exclusive access to public and private lands, onX Maps is your key to adventure. Discover the possibilities and never get lost again with onX. So subscribe today using the promo code K920. Letter K, number 9, 20, and know where you stand.